Lisa with Lisa Marie Accounting, and today we're going to sass it up a little bit and talk about 4 tips that will help you take the chaos out of your numbers. And I want you to be able to take these tips and it help you where you won't be scrambling around like a mad woman at the end of the year, and you won't be cringing when you're trying to set up a budget to balance your books. So the first tip is very simple: set up your accounting system, but keep it simple. And what I mean by that is choose a software, but research them and not just jump at the very first one because people are suggesting it, like QuickBooks Online or Xero. Those are good softwares, but you also should check out like Zoho and Wave accounting apps. Those are also really good, and some of them are a little bit more simpler than others. Keep in mind though that what some can do, some can't, so you need to check out the different rules and the different apps that can be synced with them and see what will actually work for your particular business. I suggest that you talk to someone, an accountant or bookkeeper, about it and see which one will actually be best. That's actually what I do with my clients, because they can actually help you figure out which one will be best by, for example, your chart of accounts, making sure that those can be customized. Customized meaning particular for your business. When we say chart of accounts, it's just a fancy way of saying categorizing your expenses and your income. You can actually tell it what kind of income it is, what type of expenses it is, and it actually makes it a lot easier when you're trying to do your reports at the end of the month and to see where your money and all is going. It'll also keep up with your loans and your lines of credits. Be careful, you have to enter those in differently than you do your expenses and all. So again, it's really important to research all of that and check it out and see which one would actually work best for you. And it'll also help with 2 reports: your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. And your profit and loss statement is basically a true, clear picture of your business income and your expenses. So it's basically going to tell you if you're making a profit or if you're not. And where you need to if you need to change it so you can get in the green so you're actually making income in it, then that'll kind of give you a much better true picture so that you can see that. So I really think it's really important to set up that accounting system so that you know where all that stuff is. The second tip, I'm going to say the B word, and it's budgeting. Everybody knows in our personal lives, with how the economy's been in the past, we've always set up budgets, and it's worked wonders. Well, the same thing goes for your business. If you set up a budget, then 1, you can see the entire picture of your business. 2, you know where your money's going. And 3, when you know where your money's going, that old saying, "Had the money work for you and you not work for your money," is true. Because you can actually say, okay, I'm going to put this much towards investing back into my business, and put this much back towards taxes so that I'm not caught off guard. But I'm also going to make sure I'm paying myself this much. And if you make sure you're doing that, and you're doing it on a consistent basis, then you don't fall behind. You don't end up over-investing where you've got more money going out than coming in. Because let's face it, we all want to make money. And if you're not also setting aside money for taxes, then come at the end of the year, we have a huge problem. You're all of a sudden, oh crap, I owe $50,000, or oh crap, I owe $10,000. What am I going to do? Because you had such a great year. Well, if you're putting 15% aside every time you get paid into a totally different account where you don't touch it, guess what? You're not caught off guard. You've already got it. So I think that's really, really important. No matter how you decide to do it, whether you want to have it in a savings account or another checking account, I actually recommend a savings account totally separate from your business checking, meaning in a totally different bank. That way, out of sight, out of mind. You move it and it stays there until it's time to deal with the taxes. Regardless of however you do it, just put it in place and actually stick with it. I promise in the long run it will save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a huge headache. And I think that that's really important. What I see with a lot of entrepreneurs is they get stressed over that, and that's just one tip that I think will really, really help. Another tip is keeping your business and your personal finances separate. And a lot of my clients are going to laugh because they know that was going to be one of the tips, because I can't stress enough. Don't commingle your funds. And if you're doing it and you're going, oh crap, stop. Get a separate business account. Go set up a tax ID number. You don't have to have an S corporation to set up a tax ID number. It'll take you about 5 minutes. Go online to the IRS website. You want to do a tax ID number. You can do it as your sole proprietor because you want to set up a bank account, and you'll now be able to set up a business bank account. And keep those funds separate. Don't pay business expenses with your personal, and don't put your business money into your personal. It causes a lot of issues. One, it's going to cause you a lot of chaos and headache for not only you, but for your accountant, your bookkeeper, or whoever's doing your taxes, because you have to go through those bank statements and those receipts and fine tooth and figure out which one's business and which one's not, because you've got to make sure you only include your business ones. And then from there, you have a really difficult time getting a clear picture of what your business expenses are or how much you had, because you're not keeping them totally separate. Whereas if you keep them in a separate account, you're able to sync that account with the software that I suggested you set up, and then you're able to categorize those, and because it's kept totally separate, you have a much clearer picture. And trust me when I say it saves you a lot of time and headache, because it does. I just actually, as an accountant, I still made the same mistake when I was starting out, because of course we have to pay some stuff with our personal finances. And so I suggest that if you do, then you transfer the money to your business account. You can put it as a investment into your business. That way it doesn't show up as income. And from there you're able to pay those expenses and keep it that way. But you don't want to actually just pay it out of your personal account or pay for your personal bills out of your business account. You're much better off transferring the money and putting it, okay, you got to pay your personal, so let's transfer money and just count it as a business, basically paying yourself. And so if you're paying yourself, then it won't show up as an expense. And again, you're not commingling funds. You think of it as you want a paper trail. As much as we want to be paperless, you still have to have that quote-unquote word paper trail, because if you don't, the IRS could come in and make you stop claiming some of the expenses because you commingled your funds, and they could also make you claim more income because if you were having all the stuff deposited into your personal account. So they do not like the commingling. Also, if you do an LLC and you commingle, most of the states, they pretty much say your LLC is null and void because you're not treating it as a true business. In order for the LLC to be legit, it has to be treated as a legit business, and in order for it to be a legit business, it has to have separate accounts, and your funds have to be kept separated. So I will stress that over and over and over again, probably forever. I stress it every time I do my tips. I stress it every time I talk to my clients, and I stress it every time I do videos of any kind. It's just really, really important. That's just one of the main ones. The last tip, it kind of goes in hand with everything, and that's know your business financial health. And what I mean by that is don't just sync your software to your bank account and then leave it. It's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. The software is a software. It's not a person. It's not going to know automatically what some of the expenses are. Yeah, it can kind of gather from how you categorize it at first what they should be, but it's not going to know every single time. And sometimes they'll do duplicates, and sometimes it may forget not grab something and pull it over. So I suggest that you go into the software, if not daily, at least weekly, and categorize everything. Your expenses, your income. That's where the chart of accounts and those personalization was set up specifically for your business. I suggest at least weekly. If you don't do it weekly, then you're going to run into, there's going to be so many that it's going to take longer, and it's going to become more of a headache, and it's going to cause a lot of chaos. And let's face it, that's what we're trying to do, is take the chaos out of all your numbers so it doesn't give you a headache and you're able to get a truer picture. The second thing, reconcile. Reconcile your software account. Reconcile your bank statement. QuickBooks and Xero gives you the capability of reconciling your actual bank statement as well as the charges that are put into Xero, because they'll give you both balances. Wave Accounting and Zoho, they don't actually give you a way to reconcile your bank statements, but you can pull like your PayPal and your bank statement. What I do for my clients that still have used Wave is go through and put reconcile what's in Wave to what you have on the bank statements and on your PayPal, and make sure they match. Make sure there's no duplicates. Make sure everything's correct. And there's a way for you to actually check mark it in the software, and it'll actually put it in a different area. And if you do that and you're making sure everything's categorized, then when you pull your reports, it'll show you where everything is at. So I can't stress that enough. If you've fallen behind and you haven't done them, get caught up now, because the more months you're behind, the longer it's going to take, and the more likely you're going to miss something. And you don't want to miss something, because then you can miss a deduction, or you could claim an extra deduction that you shouldn't be claiming, and you really don't want to do that. If you've fallen behind, stop and get caught up. Or if you need some help getting caught up, then talk to an accountant or a bookkeeper. You're more than welcome to call me. I will talk to you and give you some advice and the best way for you to get caught up. Especially now, it's towards the end of the year. You don't want to be fighting around at the end of the year, beginning of January, trying to get all this stuff together and have everything in a clear picture, and trying to get all your stuff to your tax person who's going to be doing your taxes. If it's not fun and you don't have much time, they don't give us much, IRS doesn't give you much time to do your business returns and your personal returns. So just trust me, it only gets worse the more you get behind. If you really want to know your true numbers, get it caught up and make it to where those numbers will work for you, and you're not working with numbers. You want to make sure that you're able to concentrate on what's really important. Those are my 4 big tips for today. I think those are really the most important ones, really, that'll help take the chaos out of your numbers. If you want some more tips, join me on my next Sass It Up Live with Lisa. It's going to be Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 25th at 10 a.m. And I'm going to talk all about receipts and those shoe boxes that y'all are keeping for your receipts. And yes, I'm also talking about the virtual shoebox. So if you got any questions, shoot them over. I hope you found this video and these tips helpful, and I will see you Tuesday. Thanks.